Okay, good day, folks. I want to discuss with you a topic that is pretty controversial within the Christian way of thinking, or messianic. That was my computer. I restarted it, and a controversial subject amongst Christians or messianic believers, messianic Jews, or messianic Judaistic folks, whatever, as long as you believe in Jesus Christ, Yeshua Mosje. Many Christians say that, okay, we have Jesus Christ in our life, etc., etc., and that sets us free from doing the law, the laws of Moses, the Torah. Well, that's a good question. Is that so? Well, I have to be honest, I don't agree with that. And why? Well, in the first place, if you look at Matthew 5, Jesus says that, he says, okay, don't mean that I come to unbind the law or the prophets. I'm not coming to here to unbind them, to break them apart. No, I'm coming here to fulfill those prophecies. And he says also, if you do and teach the law, then you will be known as being great in the kingdom of heaven. And if you don't do them and don't teach them, then you will be called small in the kingdom of heaven. And next he explains 4, 5, 6 things from the law. Then he says, you have heard that it is said to the elders, thou shalt not kill. But I say unto you, don't even get angry, because anger or murder starts with anger in your heart. Especially if you let that anger grow and grow and grow and grow, then the murder is started with the anger. So stop that. And he says, don't, until you is said, don't commit adultery. But Jesus says, I'm saying, don't even look at another woman, because adultery starts with looking at another woman for a man, and from a woman if you look at another man. So what Jesus is doing, he's deepening the law that is given to Moses. He says, listen folks, this is how the way the law is meant to be. If you want to do the law, then do it in this way. And so even Jesus says, no, I'm not here for breaking the law and tell you're set free from it. I mean, it is good that we are released from the curse of the law. The law says you need to die because you break the law. That's what the law says. And Jesus says, no, okay, I take away that curse. Because if you break the law, picking up stones and throw you to death. So that is what the law was intended to do. And only God was able and is able to do the law 100%. So if you say, well, I am doing the law of Moses entirely, then actually what you're saying, I am God. I am as good as a God is. Well, you're not. Sorry. Yeah. But does that take away the responsibility for you or me to do the law as good as we can? Yes, we do. We have to. With God's help. I mean, I cannot do it alone. But I will not get my place into heaven from it. Yeah, I get my place in heaven because I believe Jesus. He sets me free and he brings me to heaven. Not because of me doing the law. Because then I can say, hey, I perform the law. I'm so good. I earn my place into heaven. No, sorry, folks. You don't earn it. You get it because of the mercy God shows to you. And because of the grace that God has shown to you. Not because you earn it. You cannot earn the place in heaven. But that does not release you from your duty to, as good as you can, perform the law. I mean, it's not only thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie. Have acknowledge God as He is. He took you out of your spiritual Egypt, and so on, and so on, so on, so on. Don't use the name of God in vain, and don't want anything from your neighbor, not his wife, not his donkey, car, not his whatever kind of stuff. Don't be jealous on him. Yeah. So, well, that is still today. I mean, if the law would not be applicable anymore, then I can go to the shop and say, hey, I picked this bread from you because I need it. That's what you actually say for, well, the law is no longer valid. That's not true. The law is still valid. Otherwise, I could go to the shop. If the law was really not valid, then I can say, okay, I go to the shop and steal a bread. And nobody has got an argument. We're in Christ, so the law is not valid anymore. No, that's a lie, folks. You know it, I know it. Then I could stone somebody to death or kill somebody and say, well, the law is not valid. So thou shalt not kill is not applicable anymore. No. Sorry, folks. What Jesus was arguing about against the Pharisees and the scriptures, scribes, or however you call them, is doing the law for doing the law. Doing the rules for doing the rules, and not the thought behind it. Why was that law given? Yeah? Not eating pork is just good for your body. Yeah? Resting on Sabbath is just good for you. Can you go to heaven if you skip it once? No, that's not the point. The point is the spirit behind the law. And trying it as good as you can. But it will not make you going into heaven. Yeah? Believing in Jesus Christ, that will make you go into heaven. Believing that He came and died for you, for your sins, etc., etc., etc. But you hear a lot of Christians say, listen, we're not under the law anymore. No, you're not under the curse of the law anymore. You're not stoned to death anymore. If you have a transgression about the law. If you skip the law, then you're not killed anymore. In the early days, when God gave His laws to Moses, the first guy that picked up a stick to light a fire, he was stoned to death because of that. Well, that will not happen anymore. You can easily pick a stick for make a fire in your house. It will not be stoned to death. That's the grace and the mercy that God is showing you. And Jesus took that punishment for you not performing the law. But that does not mean that you don't need to do it as good as you can, performing the law. And not only the 10 Commandments, but the entire law. Yeah, not in a very rigid way, not doing the rules because of doing the rules. No, doing the rules because out of love for God, but also out of love for your neighbor and out of love for yourself. Don't eat pork because it's bad for you. The meat of the pork is bad for you. It's not good. Don't eat blood because even that's bad because there are bacteria in it. Don't eat shrimps and so on, and because there are bacteria in it for you, it's not good. All that kind of stuff. And it's just simply good to perform the law, to do it as good as you can. Well, and God can help you with it. Because what did Jesus say to the adulterous woman? She was about to be stoned to death. Yes, she transgressed and she was adulterous, and we should stone her to death. That's what the Pharisees said. And then Jesus said, well, he who is without sin cast the first stone. And they started thinking, am I without sin? No. Okay. So they dropped the stones and they went away. And then Jesus said to her, well, did nobody throw stones at you? No, they didn't. Well, they don't judge you. So I will not judge you too. But sin no more. Well, that goes for us too. I mean, so we have to do the Sabbath. We have to as good as possible. I mean, I'm not always able to rest on a Sabbath as well. I mean, I make that, but I try to. Yeah, I want to rest on a Sabbath, preferably not on a Sunday, but on a Sabbath. The Bible never speaks about that the Sunday has come into place of the resting Sabbath. It doesn't say anything. Eating pork, I prefer not to eat pork, chicken or fish or a cow or beef like that, stuff like that. But preferably not pork or not shrimps and It's all mentioned in the Bible. Yeah. So because it's good for me, I know that. Yeah? God gave those rules to have a good society, a society where everybody would be happy. That's what the laws is for. Yeah? If you want a happy life, listen to the laws of God, because they're good and they're perfect. Yeah? Some things are arguable. They say, well, okay, how can you do that nowadays? And but there's always a reason why God gives that law. Okay, we don't have to sacrifice cows and sheep, and we don't have to do that because Jesus sacrificed himself. So that part of sacrificing because of his sin, but what you have to do is confess your sin to Jesus. Okay, Jesus, I messed up again. Lord, forgive me and help me, please, not to do it again. So that's the part we have to do. So are we free from the law? Yes, we are free from the curse of the law. The law will kill you. Yeah? But Jesus gives mercy to you. So that part is valid. Yeah? And we are not under the law in the sense of that we are not stoned to death because of breaking the law anymore. Yes, we break the law. I break the law as good as you do. And unfortunately, that's our sinful nature in us. I don't want to, but it happens. You don't want to, maybe, but it happens. Yeah. So, but that means that you should die. But that's not necessary. Jesus died for you, and so you're free from the curse of the law. And so you are saved from that. Yeah. But try as good as possible, as a believing messianic or Christian believer, try as good as possible to do the law of Moses, because it's simply good for you. Yeah. Have one wife. Don't go to bed with many wives or many men, because it's simply bad for you. Sex with animals, the Bible is against it. It's in the law of Moses. Don't have sex with animals because it's simply not good for you. Yeah. If you did all these kind of stuff, confess it to Jesus Christ and say, Lord, please, I didn't know it was bad for me, and please forgive me my sins, and help me not to do it again. Sometimes things are difficult to say no to, because it feels so good, you know. Oh man, it feels so good. But ask God to help you and make a decision. Make a decision that what is bad for you is your enemy. As long as you keep on going to it, then it's not really an enemy to you. Learn to accept that the things that are bad for you, to accept them, to see them as your enemy, because they are. Yeah, everything what goes against the law is an enemy of you. It tries to get hold on you and tries to kill you. Okay, well, so yes, we Christians, Messianic believer, Messianic Judaistic folks, we have to keep the law as good as we can, knowing that we are not saved by the law. We are saved by Jesus. We are saved. We go to heaven because of belief in Jesus. But that does not release us from performing the law as good as we can. Okay, this is one of the controversial subjects I wanted to discuss. Okay, think it over very carefully, please. Bye-bye.